Every club, every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.
Hello, Spurs family. Welcome to another episode of Daily Tottenham, your one-stop daily podcast for all things Tottenham Hotspur on the Global Sports Podcast Network. Good morning, good evening. I'm Chris Mervyn, and I'm joined by a man who is as reliable as Romero being fit for an international break. It's Ollie Kasabi. Ollie, how are you, my man? You good?
I am actually okay, despite losing to City in the league, because we've got some returning players and some big names coming back.
We have, mate. We have, and you unfortunately had the task of going and watching the Man City match. Sorry, Man U match was probably slightly better, but Man City match. How was it?
It was dull, very, very dull. I mean, the first half, I think we had one shot. It wasn't even on target. City controlled pretty much the whole game, especially the first 45. They just, after they got their goal, which was pathetic, by the way, they just walked through the team, and then Haaland basically had a tap in. After that, they just sat with 11 men behind the ball and passed it about for the rest of the game, really. Second half, we had a couple decent chances, but nothing really threatening.
Yeah, I've obviously watched it, but not live like yourself. And although you can always get the feel of the atmosphere, it didn't help by the commentators saying every 5 minutes. I don't know if you watch any highlights. The commentators every 5 minutes saying, "Oh, it's very quiet." What do you expect? They're playing atrocious.
I mean, the ticket, it wasn't sold out. Many tickets didn't sell on the exchange. It was midweek, so that doesn't help. And it was really, really boring. So
yeah, we're not in good form still. It's against Man City, who, I mean, this is just like a match we play every other week now, isn't it, Man City? I mean, how many times have we played them recently? So it's not one of the ones which is going to get people out going to look at it and watch it, because they've seen Man City twice already this season, perhaps. So anyway, we've got lots to get through on today's show, with arguably the most important week of the season coming up. And yes, it is the most important week, definitely, for Tottenham, the future of Ange, and every Spurs fan's level of happiness for the foreseeable future as well. So it's really important. First off, let's round up what's been in the Spurs news over the last couple of days. So first off, big news when it broke, and obviously it's been all over Insta as well, regards to, I don't know why players do this, just to prove that, I am injured, I'm going to wear a boot. I'm going to put an arty shot of me on a balcony and just a silhouette, and they're like, hang on a minute, is he wearing a boot? Why don't you just say I've got a boot on, rather than some arty shots where people have got to zoom in?
You don't need all that fancy stuff.
No. So Kulusevski's injured. He's not been playing 100%. He said that himself, actually. I think he said he's been playing about 40% of what he can do recently, and that's obviously because he's absolutely
he's being overworked.
If he was a sports car, someone's stolen him and absolutely raked him down the motorway, and now he's like, I need a service, and that's ultimately what's happened. So a couple of weeks out. They're saying 2 weeks, 2 matches.
Well, I'm hearing that he's going to be out for until after the international break. So he's going to have about a month off, which is good for him, because we're getting players back, for one, and so it won't feel as big of a miss. And two, he's needed the rest. He has needed the rest for a long while, and a month off is probably going to do him good in the long run, the team good in the long run.
Yeah, you've got players back. As players come in, it's not, although it's a massive, miss, because arguably he's been our most influential player when he's been playing top form. But he has been carrying something, lethargy or tiredness, etc. And obviously he's picked up an injury there as well, and he needs a rest, 100%. But
I mean, I found out that he's only played 32 less minutes in all competitions for club and country this season than he did for the whole of last season. And his last game was on the 26th of February. So that is just outrageous numbers.
Crikey. I thought it was something to do with we're having a really good sunny, I don't know where people are listening to this, but from where we are down in the southwest, where I am in the southwest, it's quite a sunny weather at the moment. And I just thought with his fair skin, you can't risk that, can you? You're going out in fair skin with ginger hair. Come on. He's got to, I'll have a few weeks off now. And he's earned it, to be fair. And the good thing about it is that there are players coming back, and it gives a great opportunity for Maddison to get in the starting lineup, hopefully, and really show what he's worth. And Maddison does seem to play quite well before an international break as well, doesn't he? He's got he wants to prove it, and I think he's got still a point to prove, hopefully.
Yeah, there's no guarantee he gets in that England team, and if he has a good final 4 games before the break, there's not really a reason not to put him in my opinion.
No, you look at the players who are in the same sort of positions, and none of them are doing anything, are they? I mean, it's doubtful that he's going to not bring in Foden, even though Foden's been playing atrocious. I don't know what the heck's happened to him. He has dropped off
massively,
majorly, and but I think Maddison has been playing well. His numbers are really good. He just hasn't been consistent, as in getting playing time. Niggly injuries again, and that has seemed to dog his time with us. But saying that, it's Spurs, and he's not alone. There's lots of players who've shone brightly and then burnt out.
Yeah,
good Lord. So he's injured. We've had Kulusevski's injured, so that again gives it opportunities. Romero, international call-up. Oh, hello.
It's funny, isn't it? He's not played for months, and there's an international break coming up, and he's getting fit again. Some people, I think, are overreacting quite a fair bit. They're saying they don't want to see him play for us again, get rid of him in the summer, just because they feel like he's choosing Argentina over us. And can you really blame him though? Like, a lot of players will want to play for club over country because, in my opinion, it's a higher achievement in football, playing for your country. And Argentinians are passionate as it is, so I don't really have a problem with it as long as he plays at least 3 of the 4 games before the international break. I don't have a problem with him going.
I think he's been a victim of timing a little bit. There's no doubt about it. Words like slow healing for his injury doesn't help at all. I mean, at least it's sort of, it's not great. And I think people are some Spurs fans have been a little bit over the top regards to it. If you've got a chance to play for your country, of course you're going to do it. And Kane was the same. He turned up, played injured, or just coming back from an injury, you would play for it. And yes, he was a captain, but I think Romero's in that leadership group as well, and he's quite well respected there.
He's one of their most important players. Yeah, the best defender by a far. And it's a
World Cup qualifier. They're the world. They've won the World Cup. They've won the Copa America as well. So he's got loads of reasons to go. He really has. So I kind of don't blame him. And people who say he hasn't really turned up for Spurs. Well, he has. He's been arguably one of our best. Well, he is our best defender when he's playing.
He is so good, and I think a lot of Spurs fans must have short memory because he's outstanding on his day and up there with some of the best defenders in the league.
Yeah, is he better? Is it a better team with him in it? 100%. Of course it is. So if Real Madrid come along, well, that's kind of different because that's in Levy's territory, and Levy will do what Levy wants. So if there's an X amount of money on the table, then great. That's what will happen. But at least we've got some cover now, and I'm not too worried about where we were before. As long as something's brought in again, it's not if he is sold.
I mean, I don't think Real Madrid are going to go near Romero because they know Levy and they know what he'll be like in the negotiations. That Levy will ask for 100-odd million, and I think he's got years on his contract. You can value a player what you want. I mean, Newcastle are saying 150 million for Isak, and they have that right to. So you can value your players at what you want.
I think they're looking at Trent, aren't they, on a free? He's going to cost a lot of
Yeah,
money wage wise, so that's money which they're going to have to spend, and even a few other players as well. Even Van Dijk's been muted, I hear as well, which wouldn't be a bad
yeah.
call because
They're looking at Adam Wharton and that Spanish centre back from Bournemouth. So
the same people we are. Yeah, great. Who would you rather go and
so
play for?
I think they should definitely come to Spurs.
100%. We've got the better kit, apart from when it's got red bits on the logos, but that's
I
another.
still don't
total talk.
understand that.
I don't understand it either. I really don't, and I don't think anybody does because. Oh no, let's not get into it. I'm not doing that now. That's another podcast. Good lord. So I kind of don't. Yeah. End of the day, would Levy sell him? You know what? He's called the club out. I don't know how much that affects him in regards to, you know what, you shouldn't have done that and see you later. But I don't think he's spiteful enough. He'll do it purely on business. If it makes good business sense, then they'll do it. But there's no doubt. I think Romero will he'll go away. He's not going to say no. You're right, because he values his international caps. But at the same time, I think he will play as well because why wouldn't they? This will work up for qualifiers as well. So he did the best team out. Who else is going to be in that position?
They're playing Uruguay and Brazil as well. They're big nations.
Yeah, and those are the teams you want to play. If you say if you play for England and you're playing against Iceland, with respect to Iceland, they're not going to be as up if you're playing against Germany, Brazil, Argentina. They're all the major teams, so they're big teams, aren't they? So this time of year, we also start talking about contracts. And two of the players in talks for different reasons, or they've been talked about for different reasons, are Bentancor and Basuma. So Bentancor, they've started preliminary talks about extending his contract, I believe. But two questions on that. One, I like Bentancor when he's at it. We've always had the conversation there, haven't we? When we've done post matches, what happened to him? Oh, he's brilliant, and when he is brilliant. Fantastic, but he's been in and out this year, not been as consistent as he should do, but he's not alone in that. I think most players have been like that for us, to be honest, apart from March Gray, but that's another one. So two questions. One, would you extend it? Is he going to be happy? Because I think what we can do is do a lot better than him. I think our next progression for transfers is to get better than we already have, because that's the only way you can improve a team.
Yeah, I mean, I would extend it for a couple of reasons. One, I think we'll look to get rid of Basuma in the
That's
summer.
the other player I was talking about. Yeah, definitely.
And two, I feel like he's buddies with Romero, the South American, but he's a South American buddy. So I feel like if Bentancor was there, Romero would be a lot happier, and you want to keep a player like Romero as happy as possible, especially coming into a summer transfer window. You don't want a player like him leaving, and he is a good player, Bentancor.
He is.
He has. I take him over Basuma in the starting 11 all day.
Basuma, he would look great in a. This is one of the things in the mentality, I guess, with Spurs. When they come to Spurs, sometimes they either take it to another level and then they're superstars and they go to Real Madrid and whoever else, or they don't quite make it. And I don't know if it's a mental block thing, but when he was at Brighton, he was phenomenal. He was this player. He should be playing at another level, and we got him, and I was so excited. But he's never reached those heights, not consistently. The only time there have been glimpses, and I mean that quite well. Or he's played a good half. He's not consistently. He hasn't done it. And if you look at the better teams in the league, which we want to be aspiring to, and yes, there are 13 odd above us or 12 above us currently. But I mean the top teams. How many of those teams would he get in current form?
Not a lot. None.
Probably. Arguably, he's probably at his level with where we are now. I think I've heard another podcast actually, so it's not my thoughts on this, but they were talking about maybe Crystal Palace or something like that, and that seems to be true. He would do quite well there, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he's just not good enough for where we want to be as a club. Bentancor is I think Archie Gray should just be the number 6 when he can, because we play him, we chuck him in, and then he develops even more than he already has. So I don't think we need to actively go and look for a better number 6 when we have Archie Gray, because if you buy a number 6 for 60 million, he's expecting to play every game, and that stops Archie Gray's development. So I think we just chuck Gray in.
I think you are absolutely right. And Gray, obviously, another in the news recently. He's, as we know, already a fan's favourite, as a favourite of ours as well, of course, on this podcast. Although he's never actually played in his correct position yet, which is amazing. He seems to learn things really quickly on the pitch. And I think he's just a good all-round, really good footballer. He's got a good footballing brain. He can adapt quite easy on the pitch, which shows another level of skill, I think, compared to other players. And he's obviously won the coveted Young Player of the Year award at the London Football Awards. And the London Football Awards is obviously all the top sort of teams in London and Arsenal as well.
If anyone wants to go and send that to any of your Arsenal mates, go ahead. They would love to hear it.
I'm talking after they've beaten a blooming Dutch side 7 goals to 1. So it is a little bit tongue in cheek. Of course it is. Yeah, well, some of my best friends are Arsenal fans. That's fun. Let's have a quick break, and after the break, we'll talk about Thursday night away to AZ Alkmaar.
Here at Global Sports Podcast Network, we spent a lot of time selecting our delivery platform. Zencastr came out the clear winner. 4K video recording from your phone and AI editing that automatically removes all those ums and ahs. It's super easy to start a podcast that sounds great and is delivered efficiently. If you're ready to tell your story, check out the link in the show description to learn more about Zencastr.
Welcome back. Okay, so Thursday night at a rather awkward 5:45 p.m. kickoff, we play AZ Alkmaar away. Now, AZ Alkmaar, obviously, we played them before. They've been playing pretty well recently. They've picked up. They're currently 6th in the Eredivisie. I can't even say that word. How the heck do you say that? I don't know. I'll change that. Rewind. Whoop. They're currently 6th in their league, and they've gone through their own injury period themselves, and now have several players back to face us as well. I've listened to quite a few sort of podcasts and Dutch news commentators, sports commentators talking about them, and they've got their own few youngsters there back now, which is good. And they felt that when they played against us before, they weren't in the same sort of position and quality, but neither were we, to be honest. And we're certainly, Man City aside, we're certainly in a better place than we were. We'll see. But yeah, what do you how are you seeing the matchup, mate? Can we take anything from beating them previously, or is it like a clean slate now? Or
I think it is a clean slate. I don't think we should look into the game in the league phase where we beat them at all, really, because when we played them in the league phase, they were coming off the back of 4 straight losses, and now they're coming off the back of 5 wins in their last 8. So it's basically the complete opposite. And like you said, they're getting players back, as are we. So yeah, I think it's a clean slate. It's not going to be easy at all. I don't think we'll be beating this Dutch team 7-1. But
that would be boring. Come on, we want to keep people on the edge of the seats. Crikey.
But okay. They lost on the weekend. We didn't have a game on the weekend. They played 120 minutes on Thursday before that, so they might be a bit tired.
Well, we can only hope. Who are the players to watch out for? Is it the same players before? I guess it might be.
I mean, I'd say Troy Parrott. And he's a bit of a strange one because I feel like he has good patches and bad patches. And when he's good, he's scoring a goal every game. And when he's bad, he's going on a long run and not scoring, because he's goalless in the last 4 games.
Any assists or no?
No, but in the 5 games before that, them 4 games, he was scoring in every game. So it's a bit of a strange one. I think he'll be up for it against his former team, and I wouldn't be surprised if he scored.
Where do you see their league? Do you see it the same as the sort of Championship?
I mean, I think
it's difficult, isn't it? Because I liked Troy Parrott, but when I watched him play for us, I never actually thought he's going to make it at Spurs, and that sounds terrible, but he just didn't seem to have that next step up. And sometimes you have to do it by going away on loan, don't you? As we've seen before with great players. But I'm still not convinced. Looking at him, that he is a top player.
No, and I remember hearing when the first time we played them that a lot of the AZ fans didn't really rate him at all. And
really,
I don't think he's the top scorer in all competitions, so he's doing well. But like I said, I don't think he's doing it consistently. And when you're striker, it's like you need goals, and you need a striker to be scoring a goal every other game at least, and he's not really doing that.
I think we've seen a lot of strikers come over from that league. I don't think that many of them have actually set the world alight.
No,
because it's obviously a big jump to the Premier League. So it'll be interesting to see how he does on tomorrow. Who do you think will be in our starting 11?
I think you would really anyone would struggle to get the 11 correct because of the returning players, but I reckon.
Do you think he'll risk people at least for a half?
For instance,
if Romero is ready, do you think you'll put him in for a half?
I think if Romero's ready, I think he'll play 70 minutes. I think, in my opinion, I think we're going to play Vicario, Spence, Romero, Danso, Udogi, Bentancor, Bergvall, Maddison, Johnson, Tell, and Son. I don't think he'll play Van der Ven or Solanke because I think they're coming back later than Romero, maybe a week later. So I think
the next one.
Yeah, I think the game against Bournemouth on the weekend is when Van der Ven and Solanke will get their minutes. Yeah,
and then again, I guess he has to manage that as well because realistically, although we always want to win our league games as well, and it will help. The focus has got to be solely on European, hasn't it?
I mean, before every European game, if we had a Premier League game, I'd be resting at least 5 of the starting 11 because we're not going to get anywhere near Europe now in the league. There's no point really even trying.
We don't want conference, I don't think, anyway. So what's the point if we make it? Let's just
go
stay
for the
where
Europa
we are.
League. If you win the Europa League, you win a trophy and you get Champions League football. It's the dream. So
everything's got to be in that, definitely. So with our the match at home in the second leg, should we be concerned that our sort of away form was atrocious in the first leg? And we'll talk about predictions after the advert in a minute, but. Do you think we should? If we're definitely going to let a goal in. And
I think that's a given.
They might not score. It might be a home goal. So
to be fair though, when we played Brentford, I thought we were going to concede a couple, and we played very well there. We were strong at the back. We were disciplined. So you never know. We could go and keep a clean sheet.
They only need to get some of their shots on target though. They had a lot of opportunities, didn't they?
Yeah,
at one point they were their breaks were phenomenal, and we're not playing the same sort of standard of team, are we?
No.
AZ Alkmaar.
I think AZ will know they need a lead going to the away leg because if they don't have a lead going to White Hart Lane, then I don't think they have much of a chance. With all due respect.
No, right. Let's have a quick break, and afterwards we'll talk about predictions and a few more bits.
Your body is unique, and Global Sports Podcast Network has partnered with Bionique, the world's most personalised supplements. Bionique provide 100% tailor-made supplements, designed to deliver precisely what your body needs at exactly the right levels to optimise your health. No guessing. So click the link in the show notes. Use the code GSPN2025 for 40% off your first month's subscription. Bionic. Don't settle for off-the-shelf solutions made for just anybody. Get what's right for you right now.
Quickly Google's Bionic, 40% off. Interesting. Okay, so welcome back. So match tomorrow, AZ Alkmaar. Predictions. We're never wrong.
We are never ever
also
wrong.
very right, very rarely right. I think I'm going to do mine first, mate. I think that we're going to basically. Let's have a look. I think it's going to be quite tight. There might be one or two goals in it, and I think I'm going to go for a win because we should be beating them. We should. I think it'd be 2-1. What do you think?
I agree. 2-1 is my prediction.
You've just done exactly what I would have done if I was second. Basically, no one's got any idea. They don't even know who the starting 11 is going to be.
No.
And we don't know how we're going to play. But
we're going to win 7-1.
If you look at the stats and how we played away, we should be losing it all day long. But it's the hope that kills you.
I mean, we've been pretty good in the Europa League, though, home and away. We just lost, and it was to Galatasaray. So I think we should win, and I think if Romero starts, that'll be a big boost. I don't think the other two will start. I really don't. No,
I think you're right, and it'd be silly to do that. I think because we've got a much better chance, even if we've got a goal deficit, 2 goals maybe at home. We've got a better chance of getting that around because we could be playing our strongest side, or one of our almost a stronger side, I guess.
Yeah.
So really important time for the club, as we said before, and the fans. And I think I'm right in saying you're on the same page with me on this one. If we lose the 2 matches and we're out of it, he still stays to the end of the season anyway. Because I can't see any point in getting rid of him.
I mean, I said before we were at the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup, I said even if we don't win a trophy, I still want to keep him until at least the end of next season because he's been dealt a very bad hand with the injuries. So yeah, I won't feel any anger if we don't win the Europa League, but I think we should be going at least to the semi-finals as a minimum.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right, mate. I really do. I'm going to look at hotels in a minute. I'm not, but I think we should win in this definitely. So that's the match tomorrow. Now, before the season started, with our squad, obviously we've had some additions as well. The first 11 would be dramatically different, if I'm right in saying, than it is now, and that's more likely because we've had to give young players a chance because of the injuries, and they've really flourished and taken that opportunity, haven't they? Which, hopefully other players will do, like Maddison now will take that opportunity of Kulusevski being injured as well. So to end the podcast on, if all our players were now fit from our squad, who would you pick to starting in 11? And this obviously will possibly lead on to next season as well, I guess. Who would you go for?
I would play Vicario as number one, no doubt in that. I'd play Spence over Porro now because I think Spence is undroppable in the way he's playing. I'd play Romero, Van der Ven, obvious. Udogi. I'd play Gray as a 6. Yep. Bergvall as the 8. Kulusevski as the 10. Then I'd play Solanke. Son, he 1 game a week, Son.
So who would you have on
the right?
Okay, you're allowed to have a slash there with a different player. Odobert? Would you give him a shot?
Yeah.
Don't say Werner.
And then, you know what? I think Johnson. I'm pretty sure Johnson's our top scorer. Yeah. I'm thinking it's Johnson or Tell. Johnson. I've given up, to be honest, with Johnson. I don't care that he's our top scorer. I don't think he offers anything other than running at the back post getting on the end of a
He's
cross.
very good at doing that.
He
and
is.
You have to argue that if you had a better player in that position, he would still find that position.
Yeah, I mean,
because it's obviously preordained, isn't it?
I just don't feel like he offers anything. And when he doesn't offer anything going forward, you'd expect some work rate and getting back and defending. And he kind of does that, but I don't feel like he has any common sense in those defensive positions. So I just don't think he offers anything. And I'd play Tell, especially because I want to see Tell play out wide and see what he's got out wide. Because
I think so. I think Tell with the other players around him and that 11 are pretty good. And I think I'll go with exactly that, really, mate. And I think where we need to improve, well, you can always improve a team, can't you? But we need to buy better players for more money. And that more money is probably something to do with the wage structure, but that goes down to the whole business about how the clubs run. And the things we can't typically change anyway. So fantastic. Well, look, that's all we've got time for today on Daily Tottenham, mate. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. Make sure to follow us on our socials at Daily Tottenham and on our YouTube channel at Global Sports Podcast Network Limited. Until next time, it's goodbye from him, Super Ollie Kasabi.
Goodbye.
And it's goodbye from me, Chris Mervyn. Goodbye. You've been listening to Daily Tottenham on the Global Sports Podcast Network. Come on, you Spurs.